new things that I'm really excited about. Hello and welcome everyone, or welcome back. If you are new here, I am Nicole. I am the creator behind Firefly Creations. And if you have seen my channel before, you know that I do a lot of crochet amigurumi. That is primarily what I work on. I was kind of dabbling in a little bit of silicone beaded keychains. I haven't really been working on that at all. I might work on a little bit more closer to market season. But yeah, so welcome. So glad to have you here with me. So today I am just going to go over a few things. It's been a few weeks since I have posted. I haven't got a ton made, but I do have some newer items that I've been making, some new patterns that I found, and I am absolutely loving them. So 3 things that I really want to touch base on today. 1, just a quick update on the 2026 market season, what we have in store ahead of us. Just a few new things that I have purchased, and then just a quick plushie update of what I've made so far. And like I said, we have some new items that I have been working on as well. So first of all, 2026 market season. I have applied and been confirmed so far for 5 markets for 2026. This year I'm not going to do nearly as many markets as I did last year. I'm really going to try and focus on doing larger event markets versus some of the school markets that I was doing last year. The schools just weren't quite as successful as I thought they were going to be last year. The year before, which was the first season I ever did markets, they were a little bit better. So we are going to try and do larger festivals in areas like that. So my very first one that I have set up for is in April, so April 11th, which is a little bit sooner than I usually do markets. I typically don't start markets until May and have the first one be an outdoor market. But I have signed up one for April. It will be an indoor market. This market is at a hockey rink, which is great. Not only is it a hockey rink, it was planned on purpose that weekend because there's a hockey tournament happening that weekend. This particular rink has 4 ice pads, and when there's a hockey tournament, they are normally all running with kids playing hockey. So we are doing that one to kick off the 2026 season. I have done a market in the past, holiday market back in 2024 at this hockey rink, which was also a hockey tournament weekend. And it was one of my more successful markets in 2024. So crossing my fingers, it starts the year off well as well this year. It depends on where we are located for that market. So when I did the market in 2024, we were downstairs right by the front doors. We were in a boardroom, but everyone could see what was going on as they were walking in and out of the front doors. This year, I'm not too sure. I'm not sure if we'll be in the boardroom because it is not being hosted by the same people that I attended this market with before. It's somebody different. But there's also an upstairs to the hockey arena and hockey rink. So if we are upstairs, there is still some traffic up there, but not nearly as much as if we were downstairs. So I won't know that information until I get there. The next one is going to be May, which is the one that I started with last year. This one is actually nice. It'll be the 2nd year I'm attending this market. It's the big market, has usually about 200, if not more, vendors. So there is some competition at that one, but I've always done really well at that market, so I'm hoping this year is no different. This one is nice because you do pay 1 fee and you get to attend 2 markets. So there's one market in May and they do another market in September. So this year it did go up a little bit. Last year I paid $50 for the 2 markets. This year we are paying $65, but it's still well worth the money for doing 2 markets. And last year we didn't have as good a traffic in the May one as we did in September, and I guess that's pretty typical. Last year was my first year attending this particular market, and hopefully this year we have some good traffic as well. Then we move right into June. June right now I am confirmed at a bigger event. I'm going to be attending a Rib Fest. It's in a town about an hour, just over an hour away from me. This is one that I knew was happening last year. I was attending a different market and found out later that this Rib Fest was happening, and there was so much traffic in this Rib Fest when we drove by. So I really wanted to try and get in this year. I saw it posted, I applied, they were a quick response, accepted me. I've already paid, so we are confirmed. That is going to be a 2-day market. This will be my first ever 2-day market that I attend. So I'm pretty excited about that, and knowing I'm going to have a lot of stock built up before I go to that one. There is still the other one. I think I mentioned it a couple videos ago. Another market in June that I attended last year, which is another bigger festival. It's a big beer festival. I have not got confirmation if I have been accepted into that one. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. I haven't reached out to them quite yet. I look back last year, and around this time right now, we are the second week of February. And this is kind of when they started reaching out and accepting vendors last year. So I'm going to give them a few more days until I start emailing and seeing if they have made any decisions. But I'm hoping that one's kind of a pin in the board right now. I haven't heard back. Then we jump into July. I am not going to do any markets in July this year. I only did one last year, and it was so hot. We had a really hot July and August last year, and I just don't want to be outside being miserable. Usually people aren't coming to those type of markets when it's so hot outside. So I have decided that I'm not going to do any in July at all. I'm just going to try and focus on prep. In August, that one's kind of a question mark right now as well. I have done one at the end of August. It's normally the last Saturday of August. It's like a back to school market. It is an outdoor market in a small park. I kind of want to attend that one because that is my OG market that I started actually attending markets. So if they host one again this year, I do want to attend. There's usually not too much competition at that market, but we get a lot of traffic. It's in a really good neighborhood, and you get lots of kids and adults coming through. It's right on a walking path as well. So even if people didn't realize it was happening, a lot of people are walking through there with their dogs and just out for a stroll in the day and come across this. So we'll see if that one gets posted. Probably won't see that one posted accepting vendors until April or May. So we still have a little bit of time before I see that one pop up. September, like I mentioned, that will be the big park again with the 200 plus vendors. October, again, I am not going to commit to any markets in October. This year's a little bit different. We are actually traveling in October. So the last 2 weeks of October, we are headed to Portugal, which we are super excited about. And hopefully I will be able to bring you guys along and kind of give you a little bit of snippet of our trip in October as well. We have been to Portugal once before. We went 2 years ago and knew when we were there we would be back at some point. So this is the year we're going to go back. The last time it was just my husband and I. This time we are taking our youngest son, Connor. He pleaded with us to go. As soon as we came back, we talked so highly of it that he asked if we go again, if he could come. So he will be joining us on this trip as well. I feel a little bit guilty because our older son will not be coming with us. He has 2 jobs that he is juggling right now, and we did ask him if he wanted to go, and he didn't think that that would be something he wanted to do. So it's just the 3 of us going this year, and yeah, I can't wait. We're not quite at the countdown stage. I'm sure I'll start getting into that closer to the summertime. But yeah, so there is our 2026 market. Oh, sorry. Nope, I'm jumping the gun. Got so excited talking about Portugal. November, we have the big market in November that I was accepted to back in January. So that one's at the high school that I've been trying to get into for the last couple of years. And this is the year that I have been accepted. So there, that is our 2026 market update so far for the year. Also too, I just wanted to say, I'm going to back up. Kudos to Walmart. Look at these retro t-shirts that they have. I'm loving it. Going back to my childhood, Tom and Jerry. I also bought one that has Care Bears on the front of it. Should ever grow up. Don't take life too seriously. So I'll probably go back and get some more. They had a whole bunch. They had Scooby-Doo. They had Hello Kitty. I don't even know what else they had, but they had a whole table. So I think I'm going to have to go back and get a couple more. But anyways, loving my Tom and Jerry. Next, a couple things that I bought. So one, a lot of the plushies that I make seem to be smaller, and I always go to just the plain black eyes. I have bought a couple of eyes, and I usually buy all my eyes off of Amazon. in bulk typically. So I have bought some that aren't necessarily sinker eyes, but they do have sort of the colored backing on them. Normally no larger than a 12 millimeter. But I realized that I started making a few things and I needed some larger eyes. So I went and I bought a 20 millimeter and a 25 millimeter. I've never dealt with eyes larger than that. I don't know what I would make if I bought larger eyes like that. I see a lot of people using kind of 35 millimeter eyes and it always looks amazing what they're making. I just have never bought those size eyes before. But, so I got the 20 millimeter. Whoop, I lost it already. So we got these ones. There's no color in the back right now, but they are the sinker eyes with kind of where the color is going to come out around 3/4. Now these ones I like because, oh, there we go. We're getting dark. It has these kind of backings, which at first, when I first started using these ones, I didn't like. And now I've really come to like these ones because when I got the 25 millimeter eye, which the same type of eye, just larger. Again, you can kind of see a little better the shape of that one. These ones come with these half moon backers. And I've used these before on a smaller eye, and they are so hard to snap in place. I do have one of those safety eye kind of clamps, just the handheld ones. I don't find it works very well. I did buy a bit of a cheaper one, just to see if I would like it. And I use my fingers and push it in. I do melt the backs of the eyes as well, just to make it a little bit more secure in the plushies. But so I got those two. Another thing that I had looked at last year, but I didn't actually buy. So when I go to markets, I have all my plushies in the hard plastic totes, which are fine. They stack nicely on top of each other. But obviously they're in a hard plastic tote. You can't squish them. You can't kind of maneuver them. So I think they take up probably more room than they need to when I'm trying to put them in the car. So again, my friend Amazon, we went and I bought a bunch of these big shipping bags, like big clothing style bags. I guess they're considered moving bags is what they're considered on Amazon. So I'm going to be able to fit so many plushies in one of these bags, and it came in a pack of 6. So I have 6 of those big bags. So I'm hoping that that makes my life a little bit easier when I'm trying to pack the car and trying to move things around, packing them in my wagon. I got my handy dandy wagon at the end of last year, and I'm excited to use it this year because there are some markets like that big park one that you can't drive right up to your space. You do have to walk a fair distance from where you're allowed to have your car versus where your setup is. So I'm excited to use those this year. So that's really all I bought. I did buy some more yarn. I have had it for a while, but I didn't realize, well, I did realize Parfait Premier, which is where I'm buying most of my yarn now. They had the Parfait XL, which I have never purchased before because I didn't really know the size of it. I've been buying a lot of their plush yarn because it was very similar to the Loops and Threads Sweet Snuggles or the chenille home that I used to buy that Michaels no longer carries. But I got the Parfait XL. So I bought all the colors, and I do have mustard. So we got the cream, the brown, the green, and the mustard to make my large mallards. I was so sad last year. I had my last large mallard because I was using the large chenille home, which they don't carry at Michaels anymore. And I thought I'd get this. So this is an old skein left over of what I had of the chenille home. It is actually not only is it very similar color, but it's almost exactly the same size as well. So my big mallards are coming back for 2026. I am so excited. It's one thing that I really enjoy making. I usually only make 1 or 2 for each market, but I'll have them again, which I'm looking forward to making. A couple other things. I just had a few things on my desk that I just had put aside for whatever reason and didn't pick up again. So random things, like I got a turtle done. So this is one of the free patterns that I have from the Friendly Red Fox. Now this is another turtle that I normally just use the black eyes. This one I decided to use a little bit larger eye. I think these were 16 millimeter that I used, and the colored eyes. So I think I'm going to stick with that size of eye for this particular turtle because I think it just looks way cuter than just a plain black eye. I got some more of these little tortoises done. So I have a few. So like that's a dark purple, I don't know. Or no, sorry, that's brown, a brown shell. And then some kind of, I always think this looks like strawberry shortcake. I don't know why that color gives me those kind of vibes. So I have a few of those done. I do have a whole lot of just shells done that I haven't got the head sewn on there yet. So I think I have about 15 of those. That, and we got some more of our little Mallard Squishes done. So these two, between the Mallard Squish and these tortoises, I always try to have on my tables. I consider these kind of my staple items that I have on my table. I have some repeat customers coming back that look for these particular things, and they're lower price point. I price them at like $8 or $10. So they go pretty quickly on my table. So I try to have those there at all times. I did also get, from my last video, I was starting on that big mushroom boy. I did get him done. This is also the first thing that I've ever made with clothing. He's got cute little overalls on. I did have a little bit of a hiccup with his mushroom cap, and I'll show you here. So here he is. Super cute, completed. I love these little overalls. I definitely want to keep doing more items with clothing because, I mean, it just adds a little bit extra to them, I think. So this mushroom cap, you can see here one thing I don't really like is this white where the color change happened. So I did things a little bit differently, and it probably wouldn't have looked like that if I didn't make one slight adjustment to this guy. And basically, when the color changed, the color changed on the side, which was kind of silly. Now, I wasn't really paying attention. I was zoned out at this point. I was just going around and around and around. Had I been thinking, I would have just carried the cream color underneath there to the back and did the color change at the back, but I was just following the pattern. I was kind of in autopilot at this point. So I did the color change on the side. Now I originally did the color change the way it was called for, and I'll put a picture up here of what it looked like when I originally did it, because I frogged the whole color change row. And what I did is I ended up going and I slip stitch around the first row, and that's why we have this weird white color coming through, or the cream color coming through. I think I'm going to go back with the turquoise color and just kind of stitch around there and fill that spot in. So I slip stitched around, and then I started crocheting into the slip stitch, which kind of made the edge a little bit thicker than it should have. I think the mushroom cap should be a little bit bigger. So if I do this guy again, I'm probably going to do at least one more round of increases, maybe 2 more rounds of increases. We'll see. Just because, I don't know, his mushroom cap looks more like just a hat on top of his head instead of an actual mushroom cap. So a couple of changes I'd probably make next time, but I still really like how he turned out, other than this white ridge around the top, which I will fix later on. For the new things that I'm really excited about. So I have been seeing this craze about Jellycat inspired items. And I must live under a rock, because I really didn't know what Jellycats were, more specifically the Jellycat Amusables. I don't know. I don't have people around me that are asking for those things, so I didn't even realize what they were. I had to go and look them up to see actually what they were, and they're so cute. But I found a few patterns of Amusable-inspired crochet patterns, which the first one I have is the one that has kicked me off into this craze, and now I'm just searching and searching to see what else I can find to make now. So the very first one I made was this cute little macaroon with his little legs. So I did one in green. I'm definitely going to do some in some other colors, and I will make sure I put all the pattern designers in the description below as well. I'll try to pop them up here on the screen as I'm holding them up, so you can see who the pattern designers are. But I did find all of these patterns on Pinterest. They are all free patterns. So that was my first one. So this one I took, I mean, obviously it came with the pattern for the legs, and these legs, one's completely no-sew, which I love. So I took the pattern of these legs, and then I started finding just patterns for fruit. And I thought, why not just pop some legs on these fruit and make them into these cute little Amusable-inspired fruits. So the first one I did was an eggplant. So the next three, so these fruits didn't come with the legs. The legs is from this pattern here. I just decided to add legs to the eggplant. I think on this one I probably put the legs a little bit too close together. I'd probably put them a little bit further apart. But these patterns didn't call for safety eyes. Everything called for embroidered eyes, which this one I think I'm going to add a little bit of white detail because it just doesn't look right with just the plain black there right now. So we did this. Now that I've made one of each of these guys, I will probably do some with safety eyes because when I first started, I didn't know if I was starting at the bottom, if I was starting at the top. I did also sew the legs onto this one because again, I didn't know where I was starting and finishing with these patterns. So the next one, I would probably crochet the legs into the body of the eggplant. The next one, I haven't actually got the eyes embroidered on, nor do I have the legs sewn on yet, but we have a lemon. So if you can kind of imagine what he'll look like with a couple little legs underneath and his eyes. So we have this one. This one turned out a little bit smaller than the other two items of fruit that I made, but still loving that one. And my favorite by far at this point is this guy, a little pear. He is so stinking cute. So this one I did use safety eyes. It did call for the eyes to be embroidered, but I kind of had an idea of where I was starting and stopping with this one because there's such a difference in size between the top and the bottom. Whoop. So I added the safety eyes to where the embroidered eyes would have been. And again, I just used the legs off the Macaroon pattern. I did sew them on again on this one. Again, I'd probably embroider them next time I do a pear, but like with his little stem, his leaf, so stinking cute. And this yarn, so the color of the actual pear is chartreuse from Parfait Plush. And when I first bought this yarn, I had no idea what I was going to make with this color. I've made a couple smaller things like a couple frogs and stuff like that. Some of the turtle shells I made with it. But I think that color just is perfect for a little pear. All the other color of green I have are really dark, so I wouldn't use them for the pear body, but yeah, he's my favorite so far. So now I'm just trying to find fruit and food and what else can I put on it. I think I've found a pattern for a cloud, a sun, a marshmallow. So I do have some more to make and I can't wait to keep making them. Definitely one of my new favorites. Another one that I have grabbed here and, whoops, I'm just going to grab them all. So I have a whole bunch of swings made up. So these swings are all from Jade. So let's bring one up. So I've already pre-made them. So the swing itself is a free pattern. I found the free pattern on Pinterest. And then the little critters and animals are a paid pattern through Etsy. So I have actually already bought that pattern. I think it's pattern, you either get 6 or 8 little animals. I think there's a seal, there's a puppy dog, a mallard duck, a chicken. There's quite a few different things in that pattern. So I'm going to make a bunch of those. I've never had these at a market before, so this will be new for 2026, along with all the food that I'm going to be doing. So yeah, I'm excited for this year. A lot of new things. I have a lot of stock made up already. These new bags, I just want to fill them all and make sure I have lots of stock when I go to all my markets this year. Because I think I probably would have done a little bit better at some of my markets last year, but I didn't have some of the smaller things like these little Mallard Squish. I kept running out and I just couldn't keep up with it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and come up with some sort of list or checklist, just kind of giving me an idea of how many of each items, especially the smaller things that I want to take to each market, and try and hold myself accountable that way. That way, as I sell them, I can make however many I want. So if I want to always have 25 of these, and obviously if I sell 10 of them or whatever, I can make the 10 back before the next market. So that's something that I'll be looking into. One last little thing that I should have talked about in my market. I bought, so my tags that I use for my markets on my table. So when I have little things like this, I usually just have one tag with the price and what they are. And I've been using like little, I don't even know what you call it, like little card placeholders that you normally see at events on tables. So they're kind of the size of a business card. And I put them in these little wire card holders, I guess. But anytime it is windy and I'm outdoors, they fall over or they fall on the ground. So I need something a little bit bigger and heavier to put on the table. That way they're not going to fly away and I'm constantly redoing tags. But on the larger things, I was just using these little itty bitty tags, handwriting the price on them. And they didn't look very professional as far as I'm concerned. They're just something that I had quick. So I went to Vistaprint, which is where I get all my business cards. And I did some of these little 2x2 cards. So it just has my logo on the front. And then on the back, I'm still going to be handwriting the price at the bottom here. But then I have a little warning, especially for the items with safety eyes, just that they're really not recommended for kiddos under the age of 3. Even though I do take every precaution to make sure that they don't pull out or fall out, I still want to put that warning out there to parents, and it's their decision at that point if they buy them or not, which a lot of people do. I've never had somebody come back to me and tell me the eyes have fallen out, that they've ripped, or anything like that. So I'm doing something right on those eyes. And then I bought some new business cards. So last year I almost ran out. So I just kind of redesigned it, made it a little fancier. So I just have that on the front. And then on the back, I just have my name, my email address, and where everyone can find me on social media. So yeah. So I think that is where we are going to end it off today. Thank you so much for watching and coming along with me on my journey this year. I am super excited about. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining along. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.